the dream, an amazing thing happens. Then he makes a bad choice. I want you to know that Joseph wasn't a perfect man. He wasn't this superstar Christian, this superstar saint who could go through all these things and not have any problems. He had bad days. Andy had bad days. There were days in Shawshank Redemption when Andy didn't want to talk to anybody. There were days he was doing things and nobody knew what he was doing. Andy didn't have good days all the time because he too was human. And so Joseph asked a special request. He said, when you get back before Pharaoh, I want you to remember me. Now, the Bible only records 2 acts where Joseph did not have faith. The one is at the end of his life when he tries to convince his father who to bless. That's the first act. And then the second act of his humanity overruling his spirit is here, when he puts his trust in man and not his trust in God. Listen, I want you to know mankind will let you down every time. Mankind will let you down every time. If you put all your hope in me, I'm going to let you down at some point because I am humanity. And humanity will let you down. If you choose to get married today and you're in love with him and in love with her, if you can't love them when they let you down, you don't need to get married. Because humanity, they love you. But humanity will what? Let you down. Has anybody been married more than 5 years and every day has been perfect? And you've always smiled and high five! Don't worry like that, huh? No. Then where is that? It's life. And humanity will let you down. And so Joseph puts his trust in humanity. He's been trusting God all these years. And now he gets to the point where he makes a bad choice. And that bad choice produces consequence. And that consequence produces stress. And that consequence produces stress. And then he gets into regret. And he goes into resentment. And he gets way over here somewhere he doesn't have any business being because of that one bad choice of putting his faith in the hands of humanity. And so what does God do? See, the cupbearer really didn't forget Joseph. God didn't let him remember Joseph. See, the cupbearer didn't forget Joseph. I want you to see, it's bigger than that. God would not allow him to remember Joseph. Because what do you think would happen? I asked you to help me. 2 days later, I get out. Who am I giving glory to? You and Pharaoh. So God said, I'm going to let you sit there. See, every choice we make, it has a consequence. Some choices we make, it produces spiritual consequences in our lives we do not want. Because God wants us to always choose to put our foot in faith. To put our foot in the book of the faith, the boot of faith. To trust him. Because whenever we put our trust anywhere else, then that causes a delay. I want you to see that in the spirit. That causes a delay. And so Joseph is now at a place where he's put his life, his hope, in the hands of the cupbearer that he barely knows, who's been restored. And here he is waiting. He waits for 6 months. He waits for 9 months. He waits for a year. 18 months, Curtis. He's still waiting. 20 months, 21 months, 22 months. He's still waiting on this guy, on humanity, to do something for him. So what does he do? He starts getting involved in self-pity. And he starts talking about how innocent he is and how he shouldn't be here and how he didn't do it. He starts that pitiful conversation. He stops living and he starts dying. Here he is in this tough environment, and he's always lived. He's always thrived But because this new information has come, he's made new choices based on this information. Now he starts dying. And the hope is gone. In the movie of Shawshank Redemption, Andy finds out that a guy named Tommy really did that horrible act. And Tommy has a change of heart. And he says, I'm going to confess. I did it. It's the right thing to do. He begins to share it with the authorities, begin to share it with the warden that I did it. Funny thing happens in that particular story. Life happened. And Tommy was killed, so he couldn't tell the truth. And what was the response of Andy? He went in this Great Depression for some period of time. In a Great Depression for some period of time. I want you to know that bad things will happen in your life. And so when I think about this chef and I think about this cake maker, something bad happened in his life. There are 7 stages of grief. Shock and disbelief is the first stage. That's normal. Denial, some people include that in the first stage. Anger, bargaining, guilt, depression, and then the last one is acceptance and hope. And sometimes we get stuck at 2, we get stuck at 3, we get stuck at 5. But throughout that process, at some point, we want to move throughout the chaotic responses of grief and get to the place of acceptance and hope.